First, I would like to recognize and appreciate the presence of Ms. Susan Bonginamondo, our resident coordinator, and Ms. Shabnam Malik, our head of office, resident coordinator's office. And also, I would like to acknowledge that we have our UN colleagues online. I'm sorry that some of them couldn't be here, but we have them online. And our esteemed guests, the UN retirees, our elders, as they continue to guide us and show us everything. So before we move forward with our program, I would like to briefly go through it and tell you what today is going to be like. Firstly, we're going to have an introduction from Ms. Zina, wherever she is. Then we're going to have opening remarks from Ms. Susan Mondo. We're going to then have a speech from Dr. Tara. And then we're going to have music from Dr. Tara and Mr. Francois, somewhere over there near the piano. And then we're going to have a message from our retiree, Mr. Kavishe. And lastly, we're going to have closing remarks from Ms. Shabnam Malik and a group photo. Yes. With that, I would like to welcome Ms. Janet to give a few words of introduction.
Good afternoon to you all. What a pleasure to meet you. So many of you, so many faces, familiar faces. Can you hear me now? Okay. It's lovely to meet you all. Shikamoni, the Wakubawani. I'm coming there soon. It's lovely to meet you all. I feel remember me. Some of you remember me, I know some of you do. I was the Dutch Gazette. It was just since 2007 in Tanzania. I started off in the very beginning with the UNDOC. And then currently since COVID started. Currently I work with the UN, under the UN RCO's office within the UN Duty of Care, together with my colleague, Dr. John, who's sitting on my right, and our UN clinician, for some of you who haven't met him. It's such a pleasure to meet everyone else also online. I see quite a good number coming. See a funny number online as well. Pleasure to recognize also in the last season our UN resident coordinator. Sure. I have the pleasure to recognize the presence of our Madame Susan, our UN resident coordinator. Very, very delighted that she adjusted all her important plans just to be with us this afternoon. I'm very, very grateful. And also the head of the UN resident coordinator office, Shabnam as well. She is also has so many important meetings going on that I'm very grateful. Also, thank you to all the such a short notice. Dr. Frank Monastic from the Community Center of Preventative Medicine. Unfortunately, Dr. Frank has not yet arrived. The program has changed with the palliative care factor, and he sent me a message that he will be slightly late. Now, it was due to Dr. Monastic, I found out about this conference where I found out that Dr. Tara was coming to Tanzania. And another message had already come from the head of resident coordinator's office introducing her, and we were still talking about it. And when this came aboard, when Frank told me about this conference coming up, I took the opportunity because it was And 10th of October is the Mental Health World Mental Health Day. And this World Mental Health Day is a global campaign going on around stigma.
Sorry, we can't hear.
So, you can hear me? I'm sorry, I'm not used to this spot, but I'm getting very closer. Almost kissing the mic. Okay. Yeah, so this is how this event started. So Dr. Rajendran was very kind enough to accept the invitation to come and spend some time with us. And while we had the Indian music artist, Dr. Sara is a doctor by profession, and as well as music. So also besides Tara Rajendran, who is going to be with us soon, Dr. Frank introduced Brother Francois Makasi Jr., who is a musician in Tanzania and does a lot of work with the elderly as music therapy as well. So, in Tanzania, we're not waiting until the 10th of October, but we will keep having activities for mental health all around the month. So we have circulated the stigma posters where we celebrated Dr. Morsi. So in Tanzania, we've also started with the global team that is going to campaign on global stigma. And we have sent out information to all staff members where they can take part in the activity, and there is some instruction on it where you can draw something, you can write something on stigma, you can write a poetry, a story, or whatever it is. And that we will collect together and we will try and create a UN poster on stigma, like breaking the stigma and combating it. That is the aim. Now, when we are talking about music therapy, music has always held a special place in our lives. It is formed an integral part in human culture and centuries. Whether we passively listen to our favorite songs or actively engage in music, making by singing or playing instruments, music can have a profound influence on the social, emotional development and overall well-being for human beings. We all know that music engagement not only shapes our personal and cultural identities, but also plays a role in mood regulation. Music has also been used to help in addressing serious mental health conditions and illnesses as well. Music can magnify message of diversities. Now, music does not have to be music with an instrument, or it does not have to be music with a special musical appliance or whatever. We can hear music in different forms. When we hear the birds singing, when we're out in the forest, and we hear the birds singing, and that's music. Right? When we sit down on the shore, waterfalls, the sounds of a baby laughing, all of that. So integrate that into
corporations, and we don't talk that much about mental health. And this is 2025, and the dichotomy is still huge between mental health and physical health. We all see our body, we care about our body, we care about our feet, we care about our hair, we care about the things we can touch, and we're more motivated to take care of it. But mental health, not as much. We're not investing as much in our mental health as we do our physical health. I think some statistics I saw was 1 out of 8 persons have some sort of mental issue that they're having to deal with, according to WHO 2022. So that's a lot. That's quite a few. And in most of our countries, most of them don't seek help for many reasons. One of the reasons is because the help is also not so easily available, right? But also there is this huge issue of stigma, that somehow if you were to seek help for these issues, you're made to feel ashamed that you need this help. And we've all faced it. I know during COVID, I don't know where you were, but during COVID, like many people, I suffered. Mother of a young child, I was locked in my house with no help and an overflowing workload. I was the resident coordinator in Eritrea. I suffered, really, I suffered. At some point I almost cracked. I went and got online support, somebody you could talk to. But it's one of those things you don't share as easily as, oh, I sprained my foot and I needed to go and get help, right? But those things you don't share so easily. And it was 2021 at that point, 2020. So we still have a long ways to go on this issue of stigma. So I'm really happy that we're here. We're hopefully going to talk about it. I assume that this is among the unenlightened already, quite frankly, indeed. But that we can, find ways of advocating for this more in our own lives and across, that these issues are important. Zina talked about why mental health is so important, but it's the foundation of everything. Truly, it's the foundation of everything. And my belief is why we don't take it so seriously is that we don't see the organ at play. We don't see our brains. We can see the arm, we can see your skin, your eye, but we don't see our brains. And when we don't see it, it's so hard to truly take care of it. Taking care of it means doing the things that are good for it to function properly. Yeah? How many of us eat the things that we need to eat for the brain to function properly? Or sleep the number of hours we need to sleep for the brain to function properly? Or do all the other soothing things, including sounds and music that helps the brain function properly? We don't do it. And for most of us also, I will assume that there's some gap between our knowledge. We know more than we are practicing. So how to bridge that gap and how to sort of encourage everybody around us to do the same. But thank you so much, Zinat. She's the one that came to us. She insisted that we mark Mental Health Day. She pushed us to do something, so I really thank you, because without you, it's not obvious that we would have been here talking about it. And I'm really grateful that you're here for this discussion. And for all the colleagues who are online, we know that it's not easy. There were 51 before. The eyes are not so good again. I'm not seeing now it's 56. Thank you all for making the time. These are truly important discussions. It's 2025. We are not acting, the world has changed, but we're not acting as differently as we did some decades ago. We should have been a lot further in terms of how we deal with mental health. So grateful that we're talking about it. So thank you, looking forward to the discussion.
Round of applause, please. Thank you, Susan. Next, I would like to invite Ms. Shabnam Malik to give us a few words.
It's very speech heavy.
Very speech heavy.
It is, and I think the closing remark has just been fast-tracked.
Very much.
Absolutely, I mean this is supposed to be the closing remark, but I guess I have to run for the meeting. So I just wanted to add to what Susan mentioned, just a couple of words. And I was looking into the whole idea, the purpose of music therapy.
And I know we have yourself, Tara, and we have our colleague here, yes, Francois, to give the whole music performance, which I think I will miss. But I was looking into the therapy itself and the impact of it, which I think Harvard came up with a study. And the study categorically mentioned that there's a direct linkages of music therapy with certain aspects of our well-being. I mean, which we know. One is it improves the invasive procedure, and if you're going through pain and suffering, and if there's invasive procedures, I'm assuming, Tara, you will talk about it, there's a direct correlation on that. It does restores lost speech. It reduces side effects of cancer therapy, and that I can attest to it. I have been a caregiver at one point to my own mother. It aids any sorts of pain relief, and it improves the quality of life for dementia patients. So these are direct correlation that has been absolutely proven by longitudinal study by one of the very, very best institutions in the world. So I think we are very privileged to have both performers in-house today to perform and give us a bit of the background. So I know this was supposed to be a thank you note, so I will still take a thank you minute to say thank you to all the participants, both in person and online, and to the organizers and my colleagues at the Duty of Care, UN Duty of Care, and of course, an heartfelt gratitude to the performers who have traveled to do what they're doing today. So have a good time, enjoy your moment, and thank you once again. Ahsante Sana.
One more, guys. So, Susan and Shabnam, we don't want you guys to miss anything. And Dr. Tara will play for us first before all the other speeches follow. Maybe she would like to say a few words before she starts.
Hello, I'm Dr. Tara. I'm a doctor and a therapist. I'd like to thank Tanzania for this wonderful opportunity. Thank you, Zina, for my God. Thank you, Nisha, and everyone who's here and also online. Thank you so much for coming. So, we'll be going to talk about the performance first. So, I'm going to perform on the classical Indian, South Indian classical performance in musical notes and melody that reminds you of the sense of playing. Raga Amritavarshini, meaning shy and exclusive. I want you to think of that moments right before a heavy rain, the pedicure, and the numbering of the dark clouds. Yeah, I want you to think of one of your favorite memories of rain. Alright?
No.
No, I didn't hear it. Louder. Thank you very much, Dr. Tara. I will invite you a little bit later for the presentation and a longer speech. Great. I would love to now introduce our guest of honor, our speaker, and I'll let her take the floor and give us a little bit about mental health and how it helps with music. Hello, everyone.
Yeah, I'll start with my story. So I was a young little girl when my grandmother was dealing with acute leukemia, and my uncle who was standing there, he used to play this classical Indian music he heard on a tape recorder on the radio, and that was the only thing that gave her a little bit of reduction in anxiety, and that was the beginning. And she passed away when I was around 5, and then he pushed me into classical vocal and classical Veena Recital. Because he thought music had some amount of positive impact on my mother, so why don't my niece learn that? And then I have been performing ever since such a young child, 5 years to until now, that's around 19 decades of music. And then I had a stint at Harvard in Stanford, and where I realized in the United States how music has been integrated into medicine in a professional, formal service called as music therapy, which is actually not existing in other parts of the country, like other parts of the world, like in India or China or Japan or Africa. The countries that already have music therapy going on is the US, UK, Australia, and Canada. So then I thought, why don't I come back to India, and I wanted to learn about what are the challenges right now in India in terms of we don't have this integrated medicine. So what are the challenges? And let me address that and bridge that gap. And then I found that it's only through research on music-based interventions in various clinical specialties we can bridge this gap and integrate this into Indian healthcare policies. And then as I started learning, I was diving towards this field much deeper, and I realized, yeah, that's the situation with many countries, including Tanzania, Kenya, India, China. We all have such rich musical cultural heritage, such rich, diverse musical repertoire, musical genres, and the number of musical instruments in our culture. But I feel it's very important to use that, and not just as music, but perhaps as music therapy, so that when we go to hospitals, in addition to oncologists or radiologists or medical doctors, surgeons, we also receive access to music therapists in our own country using our own music, right? Embracing the cultural heritage, but along with that being sticking into evidence-based medical research. So I also did a PhD. I also hold a bachelor's and master's in my instruments. And in addition to that, I thought all of this research will take time, it will take years and decades of work. So I thought, parallel to all of this, in tandem, why don't I perform for free, voluntarily to the cancer patients and palliative care hospice settings. So I've been traveling all across India, free, and traveling and playing music to patients. And I don't, it's a lot of money from my end. However, what is bigger than that is the joy in the faces of these patients. And once I remember somebody was in a wheelchair, and she came and she said, "Oh my God, doctor, I don't have anything to give you, and I feel so much joyful with the music." And she gave me 2 pens, and I was so happy. It's such a treasured memory for me. Yes, so that's my story. And then let's move on to something a little technical, but I'll try, I promise, to keep it very simple. So when you listen to music, into different parts of the brain. And one might think it's just one portion of the brain that assesses and analyzes music, but which is not true. Rhythm is analyzed somewhere else. The melody is interpreted in some region. The visual aspect of it, you are listening to a musician's bone movements in the winding, all those visual aspects are analyzed in a different area. Emotional response to music is interpreted in a different area. Now, why this is important is that when one of the activities of music, what music does is, one on the right side you can see, music, when you listen to music, the blood flow in the brain increases, and where that can be helpful? In stroke. In stroke, what happens? The blood flow to that particular area reduces, and depending on that area, what that interprets, for instance, rhythm, if it's rhythm, then after the primary treatment of stroke is over, we do just music therapy / physiotherapy care, where music therapists engage the patient for rhythm and encourage them to move their limbs. So there will be a rhythm like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and the rhythm will go on. So the patient will be engaged in that rhythm and they will start moving their limbs. And that's not an overnight process, that's going to take weeks, just like physiotherapy. And music also has some influence in the autonomic nervous system and cardiovascular response, and that is how heart rate reduces, respiratory reduces, blood pressure reduces, but only when you are listening to relaxing music. But just in case you are listening to music that triggers a bad memory or exciting rock music, all of this is going to reverse. Heart rate is going to go up and all of that. Now, again, coming to stress, music, relaxing music also lowers the stress hormone in our body, which is cortisol. Again, any music that triggers a bad memory or any exciting music will also do the reverse of it, which is increase the stress level. Right? So that is exactly why you need a trained music therapist to help you with this skill and then curate a playlist that's specific to you. Music is not equal to music therapy, and which is not equal to music medicine. This is a little technical, but I just want you to know the distinction between the words. The American Music Therapy Association defines music therapy as the clinical and evidence-based use of music that's individualized goals, given therapeutic relationship, and that must be delivered by a credentialed professional who has completed an music therapy program. As I said, all of our countries, we do not have music therapy program placed just yet. We are doing so much research, and then hopefully, perhaps a few years down the lane, we will also have music therapists in all our countries, which music is difficult. And those countries which have already music therapy going on, the US has existed for the last 80 years, 80. So that's a wonderful thing, and what they have done, I'm just showing this to inspire you what music therapy can do. It can reduce post-operative pain, it can help in fibromyalgia, it can improve the quality of life, reduce anxiety, improve the depression, and it can, again, as I said, stroke rehabilitation. In stroke rehabilitation, not only movement but also speech. It can improve autism spectrum disorders, multiple sclerosis. In multiple sclerosis, what music can help with coordination, balance, walking, gait, emotional status, and cognitive impairment and dementia. As I said, music can Nobel-winning, most of the Nobel-winning researchers are published in this, so I would this is a very, very premium and prestigious journal. And they published last month that arts for disease prevention and health promotion, not when you have the disease and to support the adjunct care, but to prevent the disease. And I don't want to go into the details of it, but what they report is that arts may support non-communicable diseases, prevention and health promotion by generating cultural relevance, providing opportunities for increased physical activity and social connectedness, right? World Health Organization in the year 2019 gathered this massive amount of evidence on the importance of music in health, and what they found is that activities such as making and listening to music is associated with stress management and prevention, and including the reduced levels of biological stress in daily life and pain. What I would suggest are some 6 ideas that you may embrace in your life. This is not music therapy. This is coming from a musician and the doctor. There is something called social prescribing in the NHS UK. So they are also providing a suggestion of 2 hours weekly music listening. So I just want to spice it up with an additional advice. One would be intentional listening when you are stressed out. I would love you to have this short listening, take a break, but a musical break. Short listening break to create a safe mental space, the music that reminds you of positive memory. The second one is match friendship to mood. So if you're feeling sad, don't listen to a heavy song instantly. Listen to something that reflects your mood, and then once you acknowledge your and accept your mood, then go on to advance to topics that concludes. Okay? And then the third point is reflect through music and writing. So when you're listening to something, journal it, write down what this piece of music is making you feel. It's a helping to move very, for example, in my case, there are some certain situations when I'm really sad, but I'm not really able to cry it out, because I know when I start crying, I feel a little catharsis, because it's very overwhelming to me. So what I do is I listen to a song that actually makes me cry, and then I cry, and when I feel, after a good cry, I feel very good. So, yeah, right? So, yes, so that. And also write about what the music is doing. And then explore and engage actively. Explore these new musical genres. There's so much on YouTube and otherwise, so listen to that, sing along, learn to play an instrument perhaps, if that's a possibility. Build connections to group activities. You just saw what the musicians did here, right? So, the build connections with music by group singing sessions, and that sense of community is beautiful, and that's going to impact your mental health positively. Pure sharing circles, you tell your friends what all songs you listen and what are your favorite songs and what are your memories associated with that. They might not have heard that song, so all of that engagement. I would like to sing a little bit of classical Indian music. Is that okay? Yeah? I want you to sing along with me, okay?